Hello everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to today's video. I'm doing another anti-haul video today. There's usually a longer stretch of time in between my anti-hauls, but my wish list is growing longer and it's gotten to the point where I think I need an intervention. I need an anti-haul. I need to chat through some things. I need to talk myself out of buying some new products. Instead of just chatting through the items I'm not buying, I'm also going to be showing you the products that I have in my collection that are kind of similar, that are kind of going to be filling that void, and I will be applying them on my face. There are a couple of like newish products too that I did throw into the mix that I'm going to be talking about. So let's get started. The first thing on the list is the Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Primer. I love Tom Ford makeup and I love a mattifying primer, and I'm hearing really good things about this. Especially in the summer months, I have combination oily skin. I do like to use a mattifying primer just in the T-zone to help keep my oils under control throughout the day. In all honesty, I don't need a mattifying primer right now. I have the mattifying primer I bought last summer, the Makeup Forever Shine Control, that's still kicking, and there's nothing wrong with this. This does exactly what I want it to do, right? It's the Shine Control Step 1 primer for Makeup Forever. This isn't even the full size of it, so that just goes to show my rate of consumption of mattifying primers. I don't use a ton of it. I just use a tiny little amount just on my T-zone. So the baby travel size was just fine for me. And once I use this up, I already have another similar product that I bought. I actually bought this in the fall during the Chantecaille. I think it was like their holiday sale. I bought this too. This is the Chantecaille Anti-Pollution Mattifying Cream that is supposed to be really good at balancing out the skin. So once I use this up, I'm going to be using this. So it's gonna be a while before I can indulge in the Tom Ford Soft Matte Primer. But if you are into luxury beauty, you like your Tom Ford makeup, you might want to check out the Tom Ford primer. I do hear it's really good, but I certainly do not need it at this moment in time. There are a lot of complexion launches. I think that's also why I'm so tempted. This is the peak time of the year when all the brands are launching new complexion products, and it's always a very tempting time for me because I love buying and trying new foundations. I recently did a video kind of doing an overview of all my foundations, so if you have not watched that yet, I will link that. Essentially, there are a few things that kind of piqued my interest that I'm reeling it in. I'm not going to buy. The first thing being the Rose Ink Skin Tint. Now, I almost impulsively bought this, before even watching any reviews. I think it hadn't even officially launched at Sephora yet. I had it in my cart on like the Rose Ink website. They did a little pre-sale, but something just gave me pause and I didn't end up buying it. And now, looking back, I'm glad I didn't impulsively buy it. When the product was first announced, I was really excited because it seemed to be a really great alternative to the Chanel Water Tint. The Chanel Water Tint is one of my favorite complexion products. I don't have it in my collection right now because I used it up and I would 100% repurchase it. I just want to wait to use up some other stuff first. And, I've been, the Chanel Water Tint has been on the back of my mind of things I want to repurchase because I genuinely miss having it. So when the Rose Ink product was announced, it seemed to be really similar, which got me excited. I also love the fact that it was a slightly lower price point and it didn't come with a mandatory brush. I really dislike that the Chanel product comes with a brush because I personally don't like that brush. I don't use it, so I just find it wasteful. But as time went on and I was, watching reviews of people comparing the Chanel Water Tint to the Rose Ink Skin Tint on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, nobody seems to like the Rose Ink better than the Chanel. If push comes to shove, everybody seemed to prefer the Chanel Water Tint. There's just something special about the Chanel Water Tint in that it gives a really fresh glow to the skin. It's, barely any coverage. It's definitely a my skin but better, good skin day type of product. But what really impressed me about that product was its longevity. Even on my oily combination skin, it never made me look more oily, more greasy throughout the day. It always just wore really beautifully, which is kind of rare for me to find in a low coverage skin tint type of product. The Rose ink doesn't seem to share the same longevity as the Chanel, and comparing the ingredients, the Rose ink does contain some oils in it, whereas the Chanel is completely oil-free. It's completely water-based. So I think for my skin type, for my concerns, I think I would probably just stick to the Chanel, but I wouldn't mind trying the Rose ink water tint, you know, if I can get a little sample of it, or if I can experience it in person, maybe swatch it on the back of my hand to get a better feel personally for it. But for now, it's just not, it's not, kind of like my desire has waned, and I don't think it's going to be a product I will be buying anytime soon. The next item is another product from Hermes. I feel like every time I do an anti-haul video, it ends up being like a thinly veiled Hermes beauty trolling as well, and it's not intentional. I clearly love Hermes. I'm wearing, you know, an Hermes bracelet today. I like the brand as a, you know, fashion brand, and I do like their little lip enhancer that lives in my purse permanently. I love that product. You know, I also really like their blush. The Rose Tan blush is a blush that I use all the time. So Hermes recently announced their first foray into complexion. They have the Plein Air. It's like a tinted moisturizer, tinted sunscreen type of product. And then they also announced a mattifying powder to go along with it, and a glow powder, and some blotting sheets. And I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, you know, because Hermes as a brand is very much a classic brand. Even in terms of their fashion offering, you know, you don't go to Hermes for modern fashion. You go for perfectly executed classics. Something about this complexion launch just felt really bland to me. You know, the packaging is really minimal, and I mean, it's fine. The ingredients, though, it's not like they're doing anything innovative in terms of the formula. It's just like a physical sunscreen. It's titanium dioxide, SPF 30 skin tint. And I think it costs close to $80. And, you know, maybe if they would have done something fun and innovative, like a refillable complexion product, that would have been more exciting. But it's, you know, it's just a little squeezy tube. And the powders seemed, I mean, it's very French, right? Very classic, but nothing about it screamed, I need to try this now. I'm very, very happy with, you know, my tinted moisturizers, skin tints. The Fenty Skin Tint is my favorite. That's what I used today when I did my little video. And I don't really care much for the SPF aspect of the skin tint, of the Hermes Plein Air skin tint, because I always use a separate SPF in the morning, and I already have a mineral SPF that I love. The SkinCeuticals Physical Fusion is my favorite, and then I also love, you know, other types of sunscreens, combination sunscreens, chemical sunscreens. I have quite a few formulas that I really love and that I use every single day, so I don't really need to rely on a makeup product giving me sunscreen. And even in that category, there are other products at lower price points that seem to be just as great, like the Ilia Super Serum, like SPF thing. I hear a lot of great things about that. The Tar 28 newly launched, I think it's called Sunny Days. I'm actually interested in trying that at some point. I still think, looking at all the Hermes beauty launches, I think the most well-executed product so far has been their lip products, both in terms of packaging and the colors, the formula variations, the refillable aspect. I still think that the lip products have been the best executed Hermes beauty launch. I think their nail polishes are fun as well. I think the colors are really interesting, and the packaging again is really pretty. And the blushes were very disappointing to me, even though I actually really love the blush itself. The fact that it's not magnetic and that it's a refillable product, but if you go to refill it, it's just like glued on. That's kind of a turnoff for me when it's, you know, it's a luxury product. When you look at other brands doing refillable products like Care Weiss, for example, Care Weiss is at a lower price point than Hermes when it comes to their heavy aluminum refillable packaging, and that packaging is like super luxurious. It's super elegant. It doesn't, you know, there's no glue hanging on. It just feels like a little bit more thought went into that. I've still got some bones to pick with Hermes Beauty, but I'm still holding out hope that there will be another launch in the future that I'm excited about. There is one Rose Inc product that was on my wish list that I did end up trying, and it is their concealer. I got the shade LX50, and this is a really, really great match for my skin tone. I have used up my Pat McGrath concealer, and there was like a little hole in my collection of a more creamy, hydrating, but fuller coverage under eye concealer, and I thought that this would fit the bill. But unfortunately, I do not like the way that this performs under my eyes. I just found it a little bit too heavy, a little bit too thick, a little bit too overwhelming. And even if I just use the smallest, thinnest layer of it, then it just doesn't wear as well as my Armani Luminous Silk Concealer, the Armani Power Fabric Concealer, the Lancome Tante Doll Concealer. It's just not my favorite in terms of under eye performance, but this works really, really beautifully on the face. So this is what I used today, just to kind of add a little bit of coverage on some areas where I had, you know, some hyperpigmentation showing through. And this with a Fenty Skin Tint actually made for a really, really beautiful combination. I wore this combination yesterday as well, and it wore so beautifully throughout the day. So even though this kind of didn't really fit the purpose that I initially thought it would fit, I actually end up really enjoying it as an all over the face concealer. It reminds me a lot of the Too Faced concealer, like the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, the one that comes in the chubby stick. It's a little bit more creamy than that. So if you were also a fan of the Too Faced concealer, but you maybe want something a little bit more creamy with a little bit more hydration in it, check this out. This actually ended up being a pleasant surprise to use all over the face, but did not like this under the eyes. I'm still interested in trying the new Dior concealer, the Dior Face and Body Concealer. I want to be able to swatch the colors because I want it to be a product I can use under the eyes, because I'm all good with concealers that I can use all over my face now. I want like a really good, thin but fuller coverage, excellent wearing concealer for my under eyes for the summer. That's kind of what I'm looking for at this point. So still interested in the Dior. I want to wait to be able to check it out in person, because the colors in the Dior Face and Body, like the Backstage range, they not all of them work for me, and there's a particular, I want like something a little bit brighter for the under eye area. But anyway, I digress. The next product on my anti-haul list is also from Dior, and it is something that has taken the internet by storm, I think mainly because of TikTok, and it's the Dior Rosy Glow Blush, the original pink version. They also launched like a peachy one this time around, but we're talking about the OG pink. And this is when you realize that you have been doing beauty blogging for a long, long time, because I had the Dior Rosy blush from the first iteration of it. Like the first time people on the internet went crazy for it, I had this blush. I had this in my collection for about 5 years. I ended up decluttering it because I never used it. It's just one of those products that when I first bought it, I loved it and I used it all the time, but the love fizzled really quickly because it's just not a type of blush color that I reach for regularly in my everyday life. I tend to be more of like a neutral brownish, pinky, coral, peachy type of, that tends to be my go-to everyday blush comfort zone. And if I want a bright blush, I usually like a coral, not so much a cool toned pink. But seeing it everywhere, you know how it is. You see something everywhere and then you start to kind of want it. That's the marketing at work, right? And it's very, very effective. I see people use it. I see people rave about it. And oh my God, it looks so pretty. It's very fresh and very enlivening. And I think if you feel like you've been in kind of like a makeup rut, it seems like the perfect product to kind of change things up a bit. But I just know from my own experience with this blush in the past that I'm not going to use it up. You know what I mean? I'm not going to use it up. I'm going to have it, I'm going to, you know, love it for a few months, and then it's going to be sitting and collecting dust in my drawer until the time comes when it starts smelling weird and I declutter it. So I should know better from experience, right? I still want it, but I'm not going to buy it. Instead, I've been kind of satisfying my craving for it with, I just looked at all my blushes and I found the brightest, pinkest thing I own. While this is not an exact dupe, it's different than other stuff that I own. And it's so beautiful. It's by Pearl Beauty. It's a little blush stick. It's in the shade Girl Next Door. And this isn't as cool toned as the Dior Rosy Glow. The Dior Rosy Glow, it almost has like a blue in it as well. I remember it, you know, from having it on my face before. It's like that, like a little icy blue pink. This is really, really beautiful, and this is what I'm wearing today. I love the formula. It gives me like the perfect amount of glow. I don't even need to use a highlighter with it. It wears really nicely throughout the day. Also makes for a nice little lip color. So this is what I'll be using to kind of satisfy my Dior Rosy Glow blush cravings. I think ultimately I was just craving some pink. Next, let's talk some eyeshadow palettes. Obviously the Tom Ford, the cream eyeshadow quads definitely caught my eye. And I was very, very close to impulsively buying it, but the colors, like all three of the quads look amazing. You know, it's exactly the types of colors that I often gravitate towards. But any look that I would be creating with those quads, I can already create with stuff I already own. If you don't have an extensive collection and you just want a really easy, approachable quad, I think any of those would be a really great thing to add to your collection. But I just feel like having that in my collection would just kind of be a bit redundant. I did hear that the formula of the actual cream in the cream shadow quads is really nice, and it's not like a cream shadow like a MAC Paint Pot type of cream shadow. I heard it's more of like a cream to powder type of formula, similar to the Chantecaille mermaid eyeshadows. You know I love these so much. So I'm still on a Chantecaille mermaid eyeshadow in Sylvie. Sylvie is still, I feel like I've been talking about this. This has been in my favorites since I bought it. I bought it in November. It's been a consistent staple in my makeup routine since. It's so easy. I slapped it all over my eyes today as well. I love this eyeshadow. Another thing I did today to kind of satisfy my craving for a cream eyeshadow quad is pull out a cream eyeshadow quad that I already have in my collection that I have not used in a while, and it's the 1111 quad from Roen. Obviously not the same as the Tom Ford quads. These are very much like shimmery, glitters, slippery formula. It's not like a dry powder formula, but I love these and they need more love. I have not been using them as much as I should. So today I actually just took some of this just to give myself a nice little gleam on the eyelids. I love the way that this turned out, and I'm just going to be putting this in my everyday makeup drawer to remind myself to use it more often. The next eyeshadow palette that I'm actively trying to talk myself out of every single day is the Byredo Flora Kalahari eyeshadow palette. As time goes on, I see more videos about it. It makes me want it even more. Basically, all my friends here on YouTube or on Instagram that have bought this palette and they share the same makeup taste that I do, everybody seems to love it and rave about it. But a few things give me pause. Thing number one, it's limited edition, and it's one of my pet peeves when beauty brands do these limited edition releases to almost like fearmonger us into buying it because of the scarcity mindset. That's just, I do not support this business model, so that really annoys me. Thing number two, it's already sold out everywhere. So the only place I've been able to find it in stock is Selfridges, which is a UK-based retailer. It would cost about $30 for shipping, and that's just another deterrent. Thing number three, the packaging is like a completely mirrored packaging, and while that looks really beautiful, I know it would drive me crazy because of the fingerprints. It would just get dirty and I would just be, wiping it on. I would constantly be wiping it after each use, and then that just kind of feels like a chore if I think about it. But those are just the things I'm telling myself repeatedly in order to get myself to not want to buy it, because The actual contents are absolutely stunning. The color story is really cool. I love the way that it looks. You know, when I look at pictures of just the eyeshadows in their pans, it makes me happy. It's something that I would love to have and play with, but realistically, when I look at my lifestyle, when I look at my habits, I am an everyday quad and single shadow girl. Like this is my happy place. When I travel, I rarely travel with a large format eyeshadow palette. Again, I usually just do a quad or some single shadows. Will this product be like an everyday staple for me? I mean, I'm sure I could turn it into one if I really wanted to, but if I look at my personal habits, I rarely reach for larger eyeshadow palettes. I actually recently decluttered my Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette because it was very, very old. I was trying to do my makeup with some old stuff and it gave me contact dermatitis on my eyelid. So I'm trying to just be more mindful. Again, I feel like I say this in every video. You know, I need a new lip product like a hole in my head. So that's a categoric no for me, but very, very tempted by the Makeup by Mario Plumping lipsticks. They seem to be really, I love the colors. Like there are a couple of more like nude colors that just make my heart sing whenever I see swatches. I also like the concept, you know, I like a plumping lip product. I like a sheer balmy type of lipstick with the sheer, you know, shiny finish. I just pulled out 5 formulas that kind of do the same thing. They don't have the plumping effect, but I have this little clear buxom plumping lip serum that I usually use this when I'm doing my makeup. Like I use this like a first step lip primer type of thing. So I've got the plumping down. I also have the Fenty plumping lip gloss that I really love. So if I need some extra plumping, I can always throw that on. But I already have all these lipsticks that kind of do the same thing. They're sheer balmy formulas with a shiny finish, colors that I love, like the Chantecaille Lip Chic in the shade Honeysuckle. You know how much I love this. Sephora Lip Click. This is in the shade Caramel. Unfortunately, this formula is discontinued, but this is in my project pan. Love this. The Jouer Essential Lip Enhancer Lip Balm. Again, same type of product. I just used this in my last makeup tutorial. Love it. The Surratt Lip Sleeks are another similar formula that I love. The Ecstasy Shine from Armani. I don't know if these are discontinued, but this is the color I have on today. I'm like having a moment with this product right now. It's in the shade 101. This has been a recent rediscovery because, you know, I looked at my anti-haul list and I was like, okay, what can I reuse from my stash to kind of revamp my interest in makeup and to kind of help talk myself out of buying new stuff. So I'm good. I really don't need another sheer balmy lip formula because I truly love all of these. The last product on my anti-haul list is also a lip product, and this one is mainly on this list for nostalgic reasons. I was tempted to repurchase it for nostalgic reasons, and it's the Nars Afterglow lip gloss. Nars recently refreshed their lip glosses, and they brought back some OG favorite shades. And I'm talking about the shade Turkish Delight, because the chokehold that Nars Turkish Delight lip gloss had on the beauty community in the early 2010s, like I can still remember, I was obsessed with it. I still remember the burnt plastic smell. It was not a good smelling lip gloss by any stretch of the imagination. Everybody in the beauty community talked about it. Everybody had it. I think it was a Kim Kardashian, like early Kim Kardashian lip combination. I think the combination was Nars Turkish Delight lip gloss over MAC Angel lipstick. I think that was the go-to combo. Lip gloss in general is not something that I reach for on an everyday basis, but in recent months, I'm starting to get more into lip gloss. And you know, right now the lip gloss that I'm using most frequently is this old Burberry lip gloss, which unfortunately is discontinued, but this is in my project pan, so I do love a gloss. I love the effect that a gloss gives to my lips. Instead of just getting Nars Turkish Delight lip gloss again for nostalgic reasons, I'm just going to play with lip glosses I already own and just use them to revive my love for lip glosses. There are so many incredible lip glosses on the market. My personal favorites are the Maybelline the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Topaz. That's one of my favorites. The Fenty Hot Cherry, I love that. I also love the Clarins Candy Lip Oil. And also for clear gloss, I've recently, I think when I did a makeup I bought but never used video, I rediscovered the clear gloss from Glossier, and this is actually a really nice clear gloss. Love the fact that I can just use it with whatever, and it gives me that plump, full, glossy lip look. And that concludes today's anti-haul video. I cannot wait to catch up with you in the comment section below. Is there any new makeup product that is really, really tempting you right now? Is there something tugging at your heartstrings? Is there something that you're actively talking yourself out of? I'll be chatting with you in the comment section below. And as always, this is just for fun. If there's anything you want to buy out there, go ahead and buy it. Like, I'm not here to judge. I'm not the makeup police. I just for me personally, when I talk things out loud, when I talk through things, it really helps me make a decision if it's something that I'm kind of unsure about, indecisive about. So it's always fun doing these videos and kind of chatting through some new stuff that's coming out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a really great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.